Sure has been a long time, but we're back with a new edition of Holding Court here on the First Day Hoops Report YouTube channel. I'm, of course, FSHR editor and Holding Court host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you all have been doing well out there. Where have we been the last couple of months? That's an interesting question, from a basketball perspective, because job change got me doing something different now. I had a different job now. I cover black college sports for hbcusports.com. I'm having so much fun doing that. And, well, keeps me kind of busy, having to call around to different coaches, different ADs around the country, writing about the latest and greatest in black college sports. So I'm having a ball doing that. What does that mean for the future of First Day Hoops Report? Not much, really. We'll still be, doing what we do during the regular season, but I'm still trying to get out to different events, like at Spooky Nuke, down at the field house. I've just been trying to get acclimated to this new position of mine. So that's why there hasn't been a whole lot of movement on, the YouTube channel, on Facebook, on the website. But that's about to change because now that the college kids are out of season, I have a lot more time to do a lot more of the stuff that I want to do. So thank you all for being patient with me. And this week's episode of Holding Court, which I hope to make once again a weekly thing, we're going to talk about one major change on the high school sports level, share some thoughts about the high school season that just wrapped up, around the board here in Delaware, and a couple of other points of interest. So I won't waste too much of your time because it's Sunday. It's a nice Sunday, and I got to get to the store myself, to do get a little bit of stuff that I want to cook. So not going to, people probably want to cook out or whatever, for the graduates. We'll talk about the graduates in a minute. Very proud of y'all, by the way. I'll tell you why in a minute. But let's talk about the major change that's coming up across the board in this country for high school basketball. The National Federation of High School Sports Associations announced late last month or middle of last month, I think, whatever it was, that there will no longer be a 1-and-1 at the free throw line after you hit the penalty. And the penalty is no longer 7 fouls. Because if you remember, for every year, as long as we've been alive, it's been 7 fouls for the 1-and-1, 10 for 2 shots. Now you get 2 shots after 5 fouls, and those will reset at the end of every quarter. The reasoning for that, according to NFHSAA, yes, that's the name of the organization, National Federation of High School Athletic Associations, is that they want to cut down on the injuries that happen from people jumping into the lane too fast in the 1-and-1s. Honestly, that feels kind of, I'm not buying that. I mean, because kids get hurt regardless. I mean, whoever said basketball was a non-contact sport lied. There have been times when I've seen kids just literally just bang into each other, not on purpose, but just, for the simple fact of going after the ball, going after rebound, contesting a shot, whatever. I mean, you get hit. It's like Walter Mosley said on his masterclass. If you don't want to be a boxer, if you don't want to get hit, don't be a boxer. If you don't want to get hit, don't play a sport, because there's very few sports out there that are not predicated on some sort of physical contact. Basketball is definitely one of the more underrated ones when it comes to physical contact, because I have seen some collisions in my 20-something years of covering this game. I ain't gonna lie to you. But one thing that I noticed when I put that announcement on the FSHR, let me put it together, First Day Hoops Report Instagram page, was that a lot of people, coaches, players, fans were like, we still don't have a shot clock. And I'm on board with y'all. We absolutely need a shot clock. I've talked about why I feel like a shot clock is important, because there's too much of that going around, and I feel like, and Monty Heyman, who is assistant coach at Tower Hill, he has pushed back. Shout out to him. He's one of the, folks that keep me in the loop on a lot of things. And he said on the Instagram page that it takes away from the strategical part of the game. And that could be true. That absolutely could be true. Because if you already know that you got 24 seconds, that's the NBA, but college is 30 or 35, whatever it is. He's got 30 or 35 seconds to get something up. But then that takes away from, okay, how do I get this player, coming off the ball? How do I get this pick and roll motion going? The elevator play, baseline out of bounds, how we gonna get that popping if we have to, have this clock running. But at the same time, it just makes more sense to get these kids that want to play college ball acclimated to what college ball entails, and that includes a shot clock. And I don't know. And Delaware is not one of the last strongholds without a shot clock, because there are quite a few. I think, matter of fact, Sean Green pointed out to me that more than 2/3 of the states in this country actually voted against a mandatory shot clock. So it's not like Delaware's alone in this, but at the same time, we have to be honest about growing the game and getting folks more interested in, I don't want to call high school basketball a product, because goodness knows, I just came from a profession where everything was a product and a deliverable. And quite frankly, if I ever hear the word deliverable again, it'll be too soon. You know what I'm saying? So just, I don't want to call high school basketball a product, but I want to say to get more people interested in the game. That's what we'll put. Interested in the game. We want to get more people interested in the game. We got to speed this thing up a little bit. You have to have a shot clock. You have to have referees that won't call a travel on a spin move, because that is a Delaware-centric problem. I've seen too many great spin moves, and it's two steps. You get to gather, spin, layup, dunk, whatever you want to do. Nope. Ref blows whistle, steps, and it's like, we've seen spins before, but not gonna jump too much on the refs, because that's another thing. The refs agreed to a yearly contract. I think what bothers me about the yearly contract is we're going to be doing the same dance once again next year, and I'd rather have, from a not losing games or having a cancel game standpoint, is just having a uniform contract where referees agree to it for like a collective bargaining agreement in professional sports. Like, okay, every 4 or 5 years they, review it, either ratify it or tear it up and start all over again and do another contract for another 4 or 5 years. That's what I would prefer the referees do. But if they've been told, if the DIAA has been told and the referees have been told that it's just best to go year to year, then we just want to bite that bullet. But yeah, a good thing that the referees agreed to it, because there was a thought that fall practice was going to be delayed because they weren't sure if the referees were going to be on board with the contract. They're on board with the contract for 23-24. So we're going to have high school sports next year. Very fun. But yeah, I just hope that among the things that Delaware high school basketball changes, that we eventually get a shot clock and that spin moves will stop being called as travels. Those are the two main things. that is high up on the Chris Stevens high school basketball wish list. As far as going back to the free throws goes and the fouls, it does mean that you are going to have to be really careful with how you. That's a part of strategy that Coach Heyman was talking about. You can, be mindful of, who you're fouling and when you're fouling, because that bonus is going to come up a lot quicker now. Because remember, you had 7 fouls before you went to the 1-on-1, and you had 10 before you went to 2 free throws. Now with 5, you have 2 free throws. So you literally have to be mindful of, you're going to have to really be disciplined with your players of, over the back, reaching in, those crazy baseline plays where you're like diving for the ball. It's going to change a lot. And the crazy thing is, I don't think it makes the game any faster. Like, if we're going to be shooting 2 free throws after 5 fouls for about, I'd say half a quarter, because it's nothing for teams in high school basketball in Delaware to get 5 fouls in like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. So if we're going to be shooting free throws for half a quarter, that's going to slow the game down considerably. I haven't done the research yet, but I'll get on it because I'm really curious about it. But I'd have to think it probably slows the game down by at least 15, 20%, if not more. So that's the main rule change that is going to be enacted this year. That's for the entire country. That's not just for Delaware. That's the entire country. And I think what makes it interesting, and that's something that we'll probably have to just cross the bridge when we get to it, is that a lot of these states like surrounding us, like Pennsylvania, Jersey, the DMV, they're a lot better prepared their players are a lot better prepared for the college game. And I'm not saying that as a knock on the coaches. I'm saying the coaches are handcuffed in what they can do because, once again, the DIAA and the ethics committee or the whatever committee that has been holding this up for God knows how long has still made it impossible for coaches to coach their kids out of season. Now, as someone who is not a huge fan of the AAU EYBL circuit, yes, I'm saying, and this isn't a knock on those coaches and those players that thrive in that environment. I'm just saying I would rather prefer, you'd rather have a coach that is with your kid year round than a coach that is only with your kid during the summer, and then y'all have to unlearn the habits that this player may have learned from this coach during the summer. Because a high school coach coaches a different way, and AAU coach, EYBL coach coaches a different way. So if it's me, I'd rather have the coach of Ursuline girls coaching an Ursuline girl and a Howard boy coaching a Howard boy than some AAU coach coaching an Ursuline girl or coaching a Howard boy. That's just where I stand on it. And I feel like, I could get into a whole nother thing about how I feel like AAU has been like part of the destruction of high school basketball, but I'll leave that alone for another day. But again, that's one thing I want to talk about with DIAA. And of course, if you guys missed that news, there's a new executive director, and there's going to be a reforming of DIAA. I still think they're working on it because the meeting that they had about it really didn't say a lot, which is interesting because I feel like if you are a governing body of high school sports in a state, then you should be doing everything in your power and probably a little more to advance the athletic agenda for your high schools. And there's one board member in particular. I don't have to say the name because people probably already know who I'm talking about. I know quite a few people that I've discussed this with in journalism circles already know who I'm talking about. But my thing is, if you are a part of something and you don't like it, why are you a part of it? Because this one person always has a complaint that, private schools, maybe this person does have a point about private schools, maybe having it just a little bit of advantage over public schools. But, just picking on one private school isn't going to advance your agenda. And saying that 8th grade players give certain schools an advantage, where is this common? There's been like a couple of 8th graders in the history of this state that have been like game changers. Lena Deladon, Juwan Carter, that's it. That's the list. We don't have 8th graders playing football. We don't have 8th graders playing baseball. We don't have 8th graders, playing soccer that are that much of a game changer. What are 8th graders doing to you, pal? Help me help you. But again, if you're a part of something and you don't want to actively see it succeed, then why are you a part of that thing? Case in point, this is a personal anecdote. And this is probably going to get my black card taken from me from a lot of my black folks, but Chris Stevens, hate macaroni and cheese. Yeah. And everybody's like, I'm gonna give the black folks a few seconds to process what I just said. But yes, I hate macaroni and cheese. But I'm not gonna take away anybody else's right to eat macaroni and cheese. If that's what you like, cool. Keep it away from me. I'm not gonna stop you from eating it. I'm not gonna stop you from cooking it. Just don't offer me none. Because I'm just gonna go ahead and slide that plate to the side. No, thank you. No. And so that's the thing. If I hate macaroni and cheese, I'm not actively going to go out of my way to stop people from eating macaroni and cheese. And this one board member who always has a complaint about everything is like, if you don't like high school sports, then why are you a part of a high school sports board? That's my question. That will forever be my question. And if you are in a position of power on this board and you keep holding stuff up, I'm not even talking about just from a basketball perspective, because Lord knows I've already said that, certain powers that be don't care as much about basketball as they do about other sports. And there's a reason for that I've already discussed. But if you don't care about high school sports advancing in Delaware, because goodness knows we have so many talented athletes across various sports that are Division I prospects in football, baseball, soccer, volleyball, track and field, wrestling, swimming, hockey. Well, hockey's not a DIAA sport, but it could be eventually. Men's volleyball, boys volleyball now is a thing. Of course, basketball. We owe it to these kids to be able to say, you know what, we're going to give you every chance to be seen, and do it in a way that coaches that come to our state aren't like, wow, this is how they play sports in Delaware. Not sure that would, help them advance at the college level. That's basically a basketball thing, though, because football has play clock. They have, the same rules as college football for the most part, except the quarters are shorter. Same for soccer, field hockey, volleyball. But basketball is the only sport in Delaware that I can think of that just constantly gets the short end of the stick. And it's irritating. As someone who loves this game, who grew up, watching, Storman's Classic. I grew up literally across the street from Bancroft Elementary in the summertime. So literally would just walk across 8th Street, go into that side door where Bancroft is now going to be, hopefully, oh my God. If there's a way that, anyone can help me understand that we can get the new Bancroft to be named the Maurice Pritchett Senior Elementary School, then my God, let's make this happen. What a great man he was. Mr. Pritchett was my grade school principal, great man, also a Howard alum, also a Delaware State alum. He knew my mother. He knew my sister. He knew everybody in my family. And when I got to Bancroft, because I was a 4th grader coming from Catholic school. I don't know why my mom put me in Catholic school. But anyway, Mr. Pritchett was one of those guys that just, one of those people that just cared. And he was one of those people that we are going to miss eternally, because you don't get too many people that have successful lives and come back to the neighborhood and pour into the neighborhood like Mr. Pritchett did. Sorry to get off on that track. But if you must know, Mr. Pritchett was an all-city basketball player at Howard, also played basketball in Delaware State. So, yes, basketball does tie into this. But, yeah, Mr. Pritchett was a great man, just one of those people that whenever you saw him, you just felt like you were empowered. You were given something. Like Mr. Pritchett was always giving. And even though, he's no longer on this side with us, we can still give him something by naming that new Bancroft Elementary on the east side, the Maurice Pritchett Senior Elementary School. I got off the beaten track. But yeah, growing up in Delaware, seeing legends like, people like Corey Curtis, Gary Lumpkin, Carmen Wallace, Lenny Brown. Who else? DeCourcy Jameson. I mean, these are folks I went to high school. I went to high school with DeCourcy. DeCourcy was the LeBron James of that 96 Howard boys basketball championship team. One of the greatest individual games I've ever seen in person, that overtime game, the winner over Cape Henlopen. First overtime championship game in the state of Delaware. Whew, what a time to be alive. So many great players. And then, of course, you go back through the years, you have the A.J. Englishes, the Marcus Thompsons, the Delino DeShields, the Mark Harrises, all these different people who were great. And I just don't understand why we're not giving this current generation of kids every available opportunity. And that does include a shot clock, because shot clocks are in college. And if we're not giving these kids every ample opportunity to adjust their games to the college level, then what are we doing? And that's my problem with DIAA with respect to basketball. They could treat basketball a lot better than they do. Hopefully, under whatever this new regime and reforming of DIAA, that is taken into consideration, because the kids deserve it. The kids absolutely deserve it. And I hope that happens, because we can't just keep pretending that the style of basketball that we play in Delaware is conducive to advancing these kids to the next level, because it's not. It is not. And just being mindful of that, if we know that a field hockey kid is going to have a chance to be seen by, like, at Delaware or William and Mary or North Carolina or Virginia or Maryland, or if a football player is going to have a chance to be seen by Penn State, West Virginia, Rutgers, Kentucky, on and on and on. That's because those scouts and, assistant coaches and coaches at that level have seen their high school games to a point where, yeah, this kid could possibly translate to our level. That doesn't happen with basketball here in Delaware, and that needs to change. And lastly, before I get out of here, because wow, I've really been talking for 20 minutes. Didn't think I was going to talk that long. But anyway, there is something that I want to say in reference to First State Hoops Report, in reference to, and also in reference to the graduating class of 2023. Y'all are the first full class that First State Hoops Report has seen from your ninth grade year all the way through graduation. And remember, a lot of you were ninth graders that didn't get a chance to play very much because you were either on JV or a deep reserve on a high school team, and you lost a lot of your freshman and sophomore years to the pandemic. But so many of you have reached 1,000 points. Many of you have signed letters of intent to go on to play college basketball. A lot of you are just going to go to college, period. I can't say enough about you young people in a good way. Like, y'all literally have made my job fun, easy. You know, your parents are great people. They're raising great kids. Y'all are just like, you know, it's so exciting to see y'all now at your senior proms, at your graduations. And it's like, wow, you feel like a proud parent in a sense, you know, watching these kids just be like, you see them as these ninth graders, you know, you think as basketball people, you know, as basketball players, they got potential, they got this, they got that. And then you see them as seniors and it's like, wow, y'all are grown people now. It's so funny, but it's so great to see y'all grow as people and individuals, as players, and whatever y'all do in life, just keep in mind that people have your best interests at heart. You have the love of your family, your friends, your coaches, your teachers, your mentors, guidance counselors. Go forth and prosper. And I'm looking forward to reporting on you guys shining in college. Absolutely. And as basketball players, or even the people that are playing other sports, because there are people that play basketball that are probably going to play like football or baseball or soccer or volleyball in college. Going to check in on y'all too. Absolutely. So very proud of the class of 2023. And what I want to say in closing is that please don't take anything that older people say to heart, because personally, because it's a scary time now. And of course, we have to talk about, you know, the loss of Corey Mumford of Laurel, who was a great basketball player. And it's so funny because the last time I saw Corey was at the One Journey Delaware Hoops Classic. Shouts out to Nigel Alexander for giving me the opportunity to MC that. That was a blast. And it's sort of bittersweet now because when the high school seniors and juniors were playing, Corey was on one of the teams, and I had seen Corey play against Caravel, and I noticed that he's a very intense basketball player, but he's the kind of player you would want on your team, you know, because he just was not going to give any quarter. But then to see him in a relaxed environment like the One Journey, like he was fooling around, you know, with, you know, different guys from different teams, you know, he just seemed really chill, and it was like, you know, and then you think his life is taken from him, and not that it matters, but he wasn't even the person anybody was checking for. Like, he wasn't the target. And that's why I always think back to, because I grew up on the East Side in the late 90s, in a time when things in Wilmington were starting to get really bad. Like, things were getting bad by the time, you know, like 93, 94. So by 1998, 1999, things were really bad. In fact, 2001, 2001, whatever it was, I was going to Del Tech when the infamous barbershop murders happened, literally right across the street from Del Tech. And you think about those times, and when your parents are like, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like, dang, my parents won't even let me go outside. And my mom always used to say this one thing that's always stuck with me, and it's probably one thing that me now as a fully grown adult can process that I didn't process when I was 18 or 19. It's not, my mom used to say, it's not you that I'm worried about. It's what's out there that I'm worried about. And that's why a lot of parents are really, you know, mindful of their kids, where they go, what they do, who they're with, because you could be like an innocent kid like Corey, get caught up in the crossfire, and it's over. And I feel so bad for his family, his friends, his teammates, because That was a young man with a lot of promise. And it's so often that we see this, not just in a Delaware context, but in a worldwide context, that so many young people don't have the chance to be what they can fully be because of gun violence or, street mess or whatever. And it's just very disheartening. And I want people to understand that we owe it to these kids to give them the best chance at everything in life. And then, kids just try to understand that not everybody is out to, stop you from having your fun, stop you from living your life. It's just crazy out here right now. Like, you see that it's people walking into, we just saw somebody, we just had a, mass shooting at Christiana Mall. Christiana Mall! Do you know how prestigious Christiana Mall was for a kid back in the day? That was turned into just another possible shooting site. So please, I say this to the young people. As someone who cares about y'all, please be mindful of who you're with. Please be mindful of the company you keep, and be mindful of your surroundings, because it doesn't matter. It's not you. It's everybody else and everything else out here. So just be mindful of that. No one's trying to stop you from living life, because goodness knows life is meant to be lived. James Mtume, one of the great musicians that I'm really aging myself here. Oh my God. Did I just mention James Mtume? Yes, I did. He passed away in January of 2022, but on his Unsung episode before he passed, he said, you have an expiration date on your birth certificate. What you do in between that time of your date of birth and your date of death, it matters. You should be able to leave behind a legacy. You should be able to, whatever's on the other side of this, and I'm sorry I'm getting so deep, that whatever's on the other side of this life, you should be able to say, hey, I did everything I could. I had as much fun as I could. I had the greatest life as I could. That doesn't happen if you getting into trouble or, having your life altered or taken away from you at 17, 18 years old. So just be mindful of the company you keep. Just mind you that your adults, that your parents, your mentors, your coaches, they have your best interest at heart. No one's purposely trying to steer you wrong. That it's just crazy out here right now. That's the best way I can say it. It's an evil world we live in. Shout out to the Bull Future. It is an evil world we live in out here. People out here just with guns, just for the sake of it, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. People aren't just targeting anyone because, I just want to see this person. It's just, okay, I just don't have anything else to live for, so I'm going to take away the right of everybody else to live. It sucks. And until we get some people in charge who really care about gun control, that's the way it's going to be. So just please be mindful of the company you keep. Listen to your parents, listen to your coaches, listen to your teachers, because we all just want to see y'all be the best y'all can be. That's really all it boils down to. So many of y'all, I've just seen you grow, and I'm just again so proud of y'all. Like I said, I don't have any kids. I don't have any, close siblings or whatever in age to y'all. So again, I feel like a proud parent whenever I see y'all do great things. So please, just continue to be great, continue to prosper, continue to thrive, and keep shooting them shots, man. Basketball has taken some of y'all a great way, and it's going to continue to take y'all a great way, which is basically what this is about. And it's been an honor and a privilege to see y'all grow. And for the kids that are coming up, we're going to be here until, something changes. And I don't think anything's going to change, because I'm having too much fun covering high school basketball here in Delaware. Talking to the parents, talking to the coaches, going to the games, seeing the games. It's too much fun. I've been doing this. I've been doing journalism for 21 years. Actually going to write a book about my experiences. That should be coming out probably late September, early October. I'll give you guys more information as it's available. But I have too much fun doing this. So it's not like this open letter to the class of 2023 is like the end of First Day Hoops Report. It's just saying how proud I am of those kids, and how 24, 25, 26, 27, and I think 28, because you guys probably got some eighth graders that are going to be playing this year as well. So for the class of 2024, 2028, we're going to be here for y'all for the duration. So we just having fun with it. And that's going to do it for this edition of Holding Court. Greatly appreciate y'all's time. I'm cutting this short because my stomach is starting to rumble. I'm starting to get hungry. I need to put some breakfast on my stomach. So again, if you want to catch up with First Day Hoops Report, all the pertinent information will be in the description below. Hopefully I'll have some guests on, and maybe we'll do some videos of, the BPG challenge. Maybe we'll get to like a Duffy's League or a Check Rock, maybe. and some other, stuff around Delaware high school basketball. So stay tuned to this channel, and hopefully I can do a weekly edition of Home Court where I have guests on, where we can talk about basketball and different things of that nature. So once again, thank y'all for checking out Home Court this week. Greatly appreciate y'all's time. Congratulations to the class of 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Work hard this summer. Have fun this summer. And until the next time we talk, y'all be good to yourselves and each other. Rest in peace to Jerry Springer.